Hello and welcome to a seasonal map cup cast. This is a custom map cast, this time on Ladoga Cariella, one of the first maps made for the seasonal map cup tournament way back when by yours truly and Talisman. We have OrangePest on the west end of Ladoga, and then on the east end we have Finndeed on OST. So OrangePest on USF in the west end running recon support, heavy cav, and rifle company with the 2% faster between shots and reload on the Volks Grenadiers, the faster rotation time on the Stuart, and the 3% increase in movement speed also on the Stuart, and the lowered cost for the bazookas and the bars for the weapon racks. On the east end, Finndeed on OST, running Jaeger Infantry, Lightning War, and Mobile Defense with 3 Grenadier Boldens, the 2% faster between shots and reload, 3% increased accuracy, and the 5% increased faster cooldown on shots again for the Grenadiers. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the map, as you guys who haven't been around for a long time would not know it, we actually have several cutoffs layout. It's a slightly swapped mirror-wise map, but we have the cutoff in the south with a secondary for the south, and the secondary for the north mimicked on the other side, and then a master on the north and the south, again all mimicked, and a secondary on in through. If you control up in through the middle on the VP, it'll connect you all the way around with the munitions slightly offset, mirroring the vertical split of the VPs and the fuel right down the middle. So it's just a small little logging camp in the middle of cold, dark Finland. We got some sweet, sweet snow going down. So very historically accurate that USF and OST are meeting here. But so far, so good. I believe both players have played this map quite a bit as they've played in the previous iterations of the Seasonal Map Cup. So we'll see what ends up happening here. But we do have Grens. No MG42 from Finndeed, which is really interesting to me, especially against USF. But yeah, he's not opting to go into any sort of suppression, going into an infantry heavy loadout instead, and rifles for OrangePest, which is a bit curious because he's been one of the few people besides Twisted Tootsie utilizing the Jeep at the start of every game. But yep, he's going into a pretty standard loadout so far, so pretty open, whatever happens all the way around. Let's see. Looks like he's aggressively moving over into the VP, finds the REs who built themselves a tank trap up over here, and they will hide behind this grove that's on Fuego. Rifles get behind that to defend their cutoff, but they don't have that fuel, so they're defending not really a whole hell of a lot, more so positioning for a counteroffensive into this fuel in the north. Meanwhile, in the south, we do have the riflemen capping up the south munitions and the south VP, along with controlling their fuel. And here comes a big flank and move in. Volley fire used for OrangePest on those REs, praying that he'll get suppression on something, but just forced to retreat and taking a little bit of damage for his time. Rifles thought about potentially moving over to contest that, but just going to hang out behind the tank trap here and hold on to that cutoff. Rifles trying to move up onto the cutoff now in the south and grabbing the Grens. Drop one model, not able to stop that cap, not quite inside the capping circle. Another set of Grens flanking in from the west with riflemen falling in behind them. Looks like this rifleman squad that's down 2 models is going to have a bit of a hard time. And we'll just retreat. Grenadiers headed home. Not much of a jog for them, but they most likely will be building up the medical bunker as he really needs it with a 5 Gren opening. So apparently Finndeed going the Dev M route. And he's not, oh no, he is running mobile defense, so we could see just full DevM style OST. Rifles hop around these log stacks and fail miserably at that engagement, and then get pushed off by the 2 set of Grens that won that. Another set of riflemen move up from the south in the middle area of the VP and fire a few pot shots while capping up that VP. And the squad of rifles that were on that territory point, no longer able to contest that with the Flammenwerfer here, are back at home. Do we have the lieutenant? Yes, so we already have the lieutenant out onto the field. But it looks like, as of right now, Finndeed not able to contest the fuel, not interested in contesting the fuel directly, instead going for the VP focus. And there's the 50 cal immediately after that. And he retreats 2 sets of grenadiers that were weakened by those first engagements. I don't know if he wanted to retreat both. It might have been just a little bit of a misclick there. He might have only wanted 1 to go back home and build that medical bunker, but he will get 2 instead. And with the showing of the lieutenant coming out with that bar straight away and finding some good connections here onto those grens, they will head off and back on home as well. Flyman Warfare Squad losing an engagement against 2 sets of riflemen, not really surprising there. Running on back, and has he teched into light mechanized yet? He is right now, so when those pioneers get back, that will be their first task. And the lieutenant trying slowly but surely to push off these grenadiers out of this house in the east end of the middle VP. Fuel point being directly contested in the north for OrangePest, trying to take it away from Finndeed, and in the south, he was thinking about it as well with the Grenadiers, but with the introduction of the 50 cal in this engagement, he doesn't really want to go for it, so he's going to go into the VP in the south and just secede that fuel. So double fuel income coming in the way of OrangePest, and he has the M15A1 half-track out, so a mobile suppression platform is available for him here momentarily, headed to the front lines. We don't have the light mechanized built yet either. Those Flyman Warfare Squad not interested in it. So this is almost assuredly mobile defense. As soon as that M15 shows, it's going to be lock-in mobile defense. And he's going to go into that Puma as soon as he has the CPs for it. Grenadiers moving up, trying to push off these rifles. Do so successfully off that munitions. And sadly, they're not split up enough to stop the full cap of this fuel. So one squad getting focused down. Double fuel income is in the way for OrangePest momentarily. 50 cal getting flanked, it looks like, trying to target that Gren squad, but it does get behind him. The Flyman Warfare Pioneers here as well. They're going to get suppressed up. Lieutenant here to support that Gren squad that did get behind them, and they're so low HP. 2 models go down from 2 shots, but that rifle nade, blessed rifle nade for Finndeed, drops that 50 cal, no problem. However, he's not able to steal that 50 cal, so not the end of the world for OrangePest. He will most likely send some REs over there to go ahead and repair them. The M15A1 shows and gets the suppression onto the Grenadiers, but not before the soft decap of the fuel in the north, so no longer double fuel income for OrangePest, but still no fuel income for Finndeed from these fuel points. And we'll roll on over those barrels and try and find a few more shots. Vehicle crew will hop out and go ahead and cap that, so being a little cheeky with that, trying to maximize his units' effect on the field and doing so well. Ambulance, so he does have some squad sustain now onto his rifles, lieutenant and RE squad, so he will hang out here and wait for a little bit to get those heals back. Middle VP under the control of OrangePest now, and actually changed his mind. He didn't want to grab up that fuel, so he hopped back in with a vehicle crew and is going to go contest in the south. And 222 the choice. Light mechanized did come in. He did not lock in mode defense. He's confident that the 222 will be able to circle strafe down this M15A1, and honestly, with the no vet one on all these riflemen, he has no snares yet. Very close on all 3 squads, but this 222 could find a nice little window and pick up the kill on the M15A1 potentially. 50 cal still not picked up. Lieutenant being engaged by the Grenadiers and the Flyman Warfare Pioneers squad moving into position, and there's mobile defense. So he's going to 222 and then into mobile defense. I don't know if that's 100% the right play. 5 CPs for that Puma though, so it's not too surprising that he wanted some sort of answer a little bit sooner. He does have the counterattack tactics to capture the neutralized points that much faster. It's very fast, like a few seconds. So maybe we'll see some utilization of that. He's trying to get the flank off from the log stack here, as it does block sight and get the snare potentially on that. And where's this 222 headed? 222 just hanging out in the middle. If he was able to get that snare, he would have dove for that. Weapons racks now available. Double bazooka REs. And we have the bar on one set of squads already. The 222 took a big chunk of damage there from the Grens. The M15A1 rolls up, puts a hurt onto the 222. The 222 tries to return it a little bit, but not succeeding in that much. And the 50 cal was picked up and recruited, and the south end of the middle VP hops into the building, and we'll get the suppression onto that Gren squad. Will he get the pin before they cap it? No, he will not. So the Grenadiers will head on home after accomplishing grabbing up that middle VP, but the barred up rifles will go ahead and hop into that circle immediately, and this should be able to get them a little bit of vet there. Not quite on the damage from those Grens. MG42 finally now being built by Finndeed. 9 minutes in from OST. Not every day that you see an MG42 that late. And we did have the lock-in of the recon support for OrangePest. 222 comes up to poke. There's the vet one on the first rifle squad. Oh, and we had a weapon drop. Oh, yeah, I was going to say he dropped the bazooka. The LMG coming out, really putting the hurt on from that RE squad. And he did get the snare onto the M15A1, but the 222 too weak to drive up into it and too close to the base. He doesn't want a chance losing his only life vehicle right now.
Airdrop runs now available.
And the M2... Oh, excuse me, that's not the M2. That's a GRW from Finndeed. So going into a little bit, few support weapons, getting annoyed at the 50 cal. I'm really honestly surprised that the GRW is the choice here with only 4 garrisons total on this map. And them all being wood, they drop pretty quick once the vehicles start coming out. So I'm very curious about the GRW pickup, but maybe he's just that annoyed with the 50 cal so far. M15 gets some damage down onto the Gren. Lawman Warfare Squad hopping behind the Grove. M15A1 rolling around. There's that bazooka shot. 222 might be overstaying his welcome. Paratroopers being called in now. 222 will make it on and away. And 50 cal finds the pin onto the Grens with the LMG, but there's a GRW shot onto the west end of that wood yard in Ladoga Karyala. Fired up rifles trying to take on 2 sets of grenadiers. Winning so far. Riflemen holding their ground. 1 set will retreat. The other one will stay on the fuel. Where are those paratroopers at? Paratroopers dropped all the way back at base along with the 57mm. So any sort of light vehicle spam or anything like that, he does have the answer back at home if he so desires. He just has to crew it and then pay for the manpower. LMG's coming out now for Finndeed. If he doesn't lose these Grens, and he's been really good with his squad preservation, these will start winning against the Riflemen if he takes his engagements the right way and maximizes their long-distance capabilities. As especially as they start getting vet, they start seeming like they have laser pointers on those LMGs. So we'll see. I'm really curious about what these paratroopers decide to upgrade. I'm curious to see if he goes the LMG. I mean, he should. I really doubt the bazooka is the play, but there's always that option. And there's the Puma. So 5 CPs in. CP allowing the counter for the M15A1. And the Puma could easily kill this, just drive right up. But that... as soon as it shows, we'll give all the knowledge that OrangePest needs to know that it is mobile defense that he is fighting into. The real big problem is that he has no fuel. He hasn't been able to get back onto his fuels yet, and I think this is just reminiscent of the fact that OST really needs that MG42, the 222 in the south, doing some work. And despite all of this, the M8 could be panic called in to deal with the Puma, potentially. I know as silly as that sounds, but it is an option with the 57mm, and the M8 could indeed pick up that kill if the M15A1 goes down. Puma on the hunt, fires the shot into the middle of the field. It's just not even remotely accurate, and another shot completely off. I think the the Puma driver here has had a few too many shots of vodka to warm up in the middle of the winter here in this Finnish landscape, and doesn't land any of those shots, not even pretending to be close. LMG Grens taking on the Lieutenant with a 222 here. They will be able to handle that. Double fuel income now for Finndeed, it looks like. And has he teched yet? I doubt it. Oh, but he's starting to. And 222 with the LMG Grens, more than enough to get the Lieutenant to go on, head home, but the Major is already out. So the M4A3 is on the horizon, is an option that is slowly but surely making its way onto the field at some point. M15A1 just taking pot shots at those Grenadiers. There's the Puma, finds a nice shot, 57 millimeter, not in the arc there. The Puma shot finds another one, but it's so close to going down. The 57 millimeter will force that Puma on and away, and the MG42 hanging out inside of this house can't see past these line of sight blocking hedges. It can only cover this little entrance here, so he can't just hop on the other side of this and just lob some grenades if he so desires to tech the MK2 fragmentation grenade. Flamen Warfare fails to flamen any waffen up in the North VP, and they do have to retreat on out. Bazooka-wielding RE squad with also the hazard removal package looking to contest that Puma. 222 also hurting, but Vet 2 down in the south. But double fuel income for OST right now with support armor already teched. He should be able to get into a nice Panzer IV timing. The M4A3 and the Panzer IV should hit at about the same time, but honestly, with OrangePest early game lead, he's leading by VPs. LMG Gren's getting hurt up quite a bit. GRW hanging out in the middle. Nice cutoff or munitions take in the south by the LMG Grens on upgraded riflemen. Not really standing much of a chance. The M15 is ready to go again after the vehicle crew repaired it up, so he will work his way down into here to contest that munitions and get those Grens to head off. And this might be a snare. Nope, he doesn't go for the snare. He just gets suppressed instead. And is he looking to retreat? Doesn't look like it. GRW does die in the middle, however, with the rifleman and the LMG wielding paratroopers and the lieutenant. The MG42 just has too many targets to suppress, so the GRW does go down.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
LMG Grenadiers versus LMG paratroopers. Who wins? Looks like the 222 will decide shortly thereafter that neither of them win. Oh, that LMLG! That's the cook nade from the paratroopers. He was trying to pick up that wipe, potentially, but was unable to succeed. GRW still hanging out there in the snow. Puma finds a shot into the rear armor of the M15A1, of course, because it has to drive around everywhere backwards because of the way the cone of fire works on it. And we are very close to getting the M4A3 Sherman out. The Panzer IV a little ways off, but I'm really surprised he hasn't even built it yet. He has more than enough to bring it out. I wonder what he's waiting for. Another set of Pioneers ready to go for Finndeed. Puma finds another shot on the M15A1. In the north, rifles very low behind this tank trap. Do have the cover advantage, but just not able to sustain against 4 versus 2. Another juicy rifle nade on those rifles down in the south, but not enough to get them to retreat, so the munitions will change hands. LMG Gren's in the middle, looking to come in and collapse onto this 57mm and the 50 cal. And yeah, that looks indeed what he's going to do. GRW was picked up again by those Pioneers. And the Flamen Warfare trying to illuminate these riflemen, not really succeeding in doing so. And now outside the Flamen Warfare's range, and there's the M4A3 being produced onto the front line now. GRW onto the 57mm. Bazooka shots fly out onto those LMG Grens. MG42 covering the middle area of the VP along with a secondary LMG Gren squad, and that lieutenant not feeling so great about this. Now, the M4A3 would love to use the HE RNG deletion shells, but will most likely be here to stop the Puma from getting too far ahead. But this Puma's buying him a lot of time. He's building support armor now, and that Panzer IV is about a minute away after being queued up. Bazooka shot again misses. Grenadier is doing a lot of work. These LMGs, as that vet comes in, it's so hard to fight into them if you take standstill engagement like this. And another rifle nade, this time over the sight blocker there, and manages to get just about everything for OrangePest to retreat back. The only thing really left is the paratroopers and a weakened rifleman squad on the base, but it looks like they did indeed go home, so never mind. Riflemen retreating again. LMGs on all these squads, so hard to deal with. It's such a huge, heavy investment, especially with the constant throwing of rifle nades out, too. It's amazing how much that he's being able to utilize these munitions. There's another cooked nade. He has to be quick. You cannot not notice that cooked nade from those paratroopers at all. Rifle nade again, and the paratroopers catch it. And Puma not really interested in engaging this Sherman. That's it on the HE shells. It's not even on the armor piercing, so the shot misses and doesn't really deal that much damage to the Puma. But there's the Panzer IV. MG42 doing work in the middle, but gonna get flanked out. And the Sherman, if it had any questions about staying there to begin with, will go ahead and retreat with the Sherman showing its face. Puma tries to find that shot. I think that was an attack round from Finndeed, but Finndeed controlling a lot of the map, and also with the Panzer IV going out, will be able to buy himself a little bit of time. Looks like the 50 cal is interested in hanging out onto the fuel point while the riflemen go over to contest these LMG Grens. M4A3 just decides to turn the turret the wrong way entirely and just spins in a circle and doesn't fire a single shot into those Pioneers. Vehicle crew might hop out to cap that up. Nope, doesn't look like he's interested. Oh, and there it goes. As soon as I look away, 50 cal gonna fire into the Grenadiers on the retreat path. Looks like those paratroopers will be the deciding factor after the riflemen retreat home. Bazooka shots casually at the Grenadiers. Puma, however, does find a shot. Panzer IV ready to go. Shows up in the north and doesn't get the wipe on the rifleman squad, but both players now wielding the medium tanks. And now I'm curious, yeah, he does already switch. He switches to the armor piercing. So the HE shell can pierce the Puma and the 222. Even though the armor piercing would do technically more damage, but now he has to be on armor piercing to even pretend to deal with this Panzer IV. M4A3 gets the retreat from the Grenadiers again, so doesn't get the fuel back under his control on Finndeed's side. Is neutralized in the north, but not in the south. We'll see what ends up happening from here. Now, the Vet 1 Puma, well, technically Vet 2, but the Vet 1 ability is what I want to talk about. Excuse me, the target weak point. In tangent with the Panzer IV, should be able to pick up the kill on the M4A3 if it overextends and is not supported by the 57mm or the threat of the snares from the rifleman. We do have a cheeky M5 mine being placed. The 222 did catch it out, and I'm really surprised he didn't shoot it. He should have saw that. I don't know if he was actually watching the 222 there, so if he attack rounds, we'll know, but if not, he might not have caught that out. The M5 on that's interesting. He's very close to driving into that too. The M4A3 did roll up and get smacked around by the Panzer IV and the Puma 57mm covering its retreat path while the barred up rifle do move up and the REs. In fact, that could have been the REs that got those shots off as well, but two sets of Pioneers roll forward and start repairing up that Puma, and then immediately after the Panzer IV. Meanwhile, in the south, the 222 still rolling around, now being contested by the M15A1. The Grenadiers could come over to this. The handbrake thrown down on the M15A1. However, the Vet 3 Lieutenant with the out-of-combat sprint going to get up close and personal against these Grenadiers, and the 222 was just thrown away, dies with the main cannon after it is locked down. That's the only way that it will fire it is as it stops moving, and Grenadiers drop two models and run away. So that's all fine and dandy. So the light vehicle count swings out of Finndeed's favor into a tie, but the Ostwind now the choice from Finndeed. Really? So instead of utilizing the 222, he's going to go into the Ostwind to help fight into this infantry. And honestly, I find that really peculiar simply for the fact that these LMG Grens seem more than capable of winning these trades against the rifleman as long as he doesn't play around the sight blockers. So it really depends on how you take your engagements to whether or not it's close quarters combat like right here or along these wood stacks or up and along the other sight blockers, or if it's long range. And he's been doing really well in forcing OrangePest to take engagements on his terms. So I'm not really sure about the Ostwind. This could be a little bit of a throw. I definitely think a secondary Panzer IV would have just been far better. M4A3 trying to roll up. Another M4A3 on the production line to the front line. Panzer IV firing the shots. Ostwind trying desperately. I like the no reaction at all for the M83 cluster bombs. He gets the stalled out engine. House drops. GRW and the MG42 go back, but that's a nice way to delete those buildings. And now the Sherman is rolling forward, and it smacks that Panzer IV. And where's that Puma at? The Puma needs to react for this. The target weak point needs to save it, and he has a Panzer Tactician, so he can pop the smoke. He's trying to bait this Sherman into this, and then now the Sherman just can't pen. That's 2 shots in a row. Puma pointing his rear end at him, and the Panzer IV gets out of there. Where's the secondary Panzer IV? The Sherman fires a shot into the rear armor of the Puma, and then the Sherman, as it backs on and away, gets a smoke canister off, and potentially for any other shots. And the REs here could attack ground for this, but they don't. They fire at the Flammenwerfer squad. And where's this other M4A3? It's all the way back at base. The Flammenwerfer squad gets annihilated by these Vet 2 paratroopers with the LMG and just explode. And all the armor really hurting now for Finndeed. Looks like he's going to get pushed off the map.
We're losing a capture point.
I think with a secondary Sherman, I think Finndeed might be out. LMG. The M15A1 has also been extremely well used by OrangePest this game. I think a target weak point there could have even potentially gotten that Sherman kill, but I don't know. It's a little ambitious, I think. Now, this showing should tell Finndeed that that's the second M4A3, as the other squad does have Vet 3. So he should know that that's a secondary Sherman. Ostwind, going to be able to pick up the kill. He did get a little too close, so the gun can't shoot, and he's just going to sit here nice and close and personal. He has to attack ground to get this now, and can't fire. The M15A1 dealing damage, and there it goes. The Ostwind finally finds that minimum range and gets those few connections. M4A3's pushing forward, main gun destroyed on the Puma. He's going to get the snare off by this rifleman squad, and that Puma will go down. Panzer IV not repaired up. LMG Grenz and MG42 gone home. GRW getting shot at. Is this on HE shells? That looks like it might have been. Yeah, he switched to HE shells on that. And one on armor piercing. Yeah, so this is going to be more than enough to deal with one Panzer IV and no pack, no utility from the Puma. The GRW gets wiped. And he just drives in the base. OrangePest ready to close this game out. HE shell. Sherman firing into the clumped up squads here. The other Sherman drives forward. He's utilizing the smoke, and main gun crit on the Panzer IV. It does go down to the attack rounds through the smoke, and now it's just an Ostwind. And I don't even think double Panzer IV here with the health of both of them would win this, but yeah, he's just free to sit in the base now. It's looking like Finndeed's out. Played very well though, yeah, and there's the GG. Honestly, Finndeed played so well. The Ostwind was an interesting choice, but with it being so low health and double M4A3s, it's just tough, and losing that Puma doesn't do him any favors either. But OrangePest picks up the game, game 1, and we'll go ahead and get into the next one. For those of you who are watching on the rerun or on YouTube, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on the next one as well. GG's.